when accountants didn't have control and the media couldn't buy your soul.
The manufactory. Pull workers out of their homes, and you see how huge this is? That for modernity, up until then, workers, people doing productive labor, were working and living with their boss. Even under the putting out system, they were at least living and working in their homes. Now we've created a place that's solely dedicated to work, okay? So it's a place of work, a time of work, and an authority relationship only of work. These are the three great separations then. The place of work separated from home, time of work separated from workplace, social relationships, all of them. Family, religion, neighbors, friends, whatever your normal social relationships are, they're suspended while you're at work. You're at the manufactory, you have one social relationship at the manufactory, one. It's worker. That's it. And you relate to one and only one person, your boss. What I want you to see is the lack of cooperation between the workers. The workers are not working together, which you probably did in an apprentice, as an apprentice in Walden's town. You've been working together because you're learning the whole trade. Here, you're not learning the whole trade, the whole business. You're not expected to someday know how to do the whole thing. You're doing some narrow task over and over and over again. So this is called parallel production. Parallel production. That's where you're working not in a cooperative way with others, but you're simply working side by side with others, doing the exact same work as they are. You're just doing it in the same place. So what does this mean? This means that the source of high profit from this system is generated only, and I mean this, only by bossing. The boss-worker relationship is the social innovation that leads to high profit. It is the source of alienation, and it's also the source of high profit, okay? So it isn't the division of labor, it's not cooperation, it's bringing people into a place and monitoring them, controlling them, so that they work intensely all the time while they're at work, subject to the authority and control of the boss. People who are being controlled by a boss to make money, okay? And so the first industrial revolution is so important because, and again, examining it is so important because you get a chance to just sort of see it in pure form. This is one of the strangest things, that in many ways, the most advanced workplaces that are most profitable are those that are most inhuman, that fail to ignite humanity, caring for each other, talking with each other. Don't ignite that, but actually keep it down. This is one of the most negative parts about teaching in a big classroom setting. At a place like Iowa State, I teach these big auditorium classes, and every student is sitting next to each other. There's all of that human potential in the room that can be tapped into, and yet you really can't, because the system is structured to sort of keep people individual. All your grades are individual, that kind of thing, right? And it's a so anyway, think about that, how alienation underlies the rest of the production system. And if that's true, then you really can't get a dramatic improvement in the way of life of people within the system unless you undo alienation in the workplace. And if you undo alienation in the workplace, you disrupt so much. One of the things that comes about after manufactories are created is the division of labor, okay? So this is critical. And it's critical for a whole bunch of reasons. Emil Durkheim, who came up with that whole theory of organic solidarity early this semester, remember he said it was pretty positive, it's a good thing. You specialize in this, and you specialize in that, and we'll all cooperate and all be happy. That was not based upon an analysis of manufacturing. It was based upon an analysis, ultimately, of university life. And in a university, if you know anything about this, you have psychologists specialized in psychology, sociologists, historians, engineers, mathematicians, statisticians. We're all specializing in something. And we all cooperate in the end. I do my thing, I'm free to do it, to read what I need to read, to write how I need to write. And you're free to do what you need to do, but we all, right? But it's kind of a mutual respect and that kind of thing. All right, so Emile Durkheim's sort of happy view of organic solidarity and modernity comes from the way that things happen in a university. The way that the division of labor and specialization worked out in industry is very different. It happens after manufactories are already created. In other words, it happens after people are already alienated. All right? So kind of underline that and reflect on that, maybe in a whole lifetime. Something that always astonishes me. Emile Durkheim thought that we could have a division of labor and specialization, a happy modernity, where people aren't alienated, where people are doing what they love, right? People are developing their own sense of responsibility towards their work and that kind of thing, right? But what happens in industry, actually existing capitalism, is that the division of labor happens after alienation is already well established. Progress is never just progress, that there's always a loss at the same time. So we make progress in the efficiency of production, but there's a loss in individual autonomy, there's a loss in democracy, there's a loss in the capacity for others to sustain a life that isn't alienated, right? There's a loss. So the loss of independent producers and autonomous individuals goes along, because you can't compete with alienated labor, all right? 3, creates a proletariat, a working class that can't survive as independent producers, therefore you have to sell yourselves in, right? So once you can't make a living anymore making your own stuff in your own place, you got no choice but to sell yourself in to one of the manufactories, right? So now you've got this kind of forced proletariat, this forced working class.
We buried 4 workmen, they dug themselves a well, from 4 empty coffins to 4 early graves. They're only paddies, just paddies, don't dig them too deep. You'll need all your strength, boys, they're replaced easily.